Welcome to the Latino Business Report. This podcast covers business, people, and issues of the day from a Latino perspective. The Latino Business Report is brought to you by TAMAC, the Texas Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce. TAMAC is the leading Hispanic business organization in Texas since 1975. Now for your host, J.R. Gonzalez.
And welcome back to another episode of the Latino Business Report. Returning guest, Hamid Yaz. Hamid, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic.
Man, Hamid, it's very good to have you back on the show. I appreciate it.
You.
Last show, I think we actually learned a lot, took a few notes, and so let's kind of continue with that.
Oh, yeah.
For those who may be tuning into this episode for the first time, just very quickly, Hamid, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the show.
Yeah, started as a video guy, turned into a marketer / entrepreneur, started a dessert business, and now doing consulting and coaching and getting back into, obviously, launching more episodes of really cool shows and different things on YouTube as well to help business owners and entrepreneurs anywhere all over the world. Hamid Yaz on YouTube will guide you in the right direction.
And one of the few Iranians you find on Telemundo and Univision all the time,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I got some stuff from Univision on YouTube also, by the way. You'll see it.
Okay. Like I said, Yaz, thank you for coming back. Now, we're talking about businesses, about entrepreneurship, about businesses, about starting a business. If somebody out there wanted to start a business, what tips would you give them?
Yeah. Well, the first one would be what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for the money? Are you doing it because you really love it? Or are you doing it because you're actually good at it? So that's one of the things first is realize why you're doing it and maybe get some consulting with your family, your friends or neighbors or coworkers even. If you have a regular job and you're doing a side hustle, first find out what they think about your skills. Learn how to sell is another thing, because if you're a business owner or entrepreneur or wannapreneur as I call it, you need to learn how to sell. Super important. Because that's really what it comes down to. The next one is educate yourself. If you don't know something about the industry that you're jumping in, or you know that there's a lot of cracks that you haven't looked into, educate yourself on those things right there.
Okay.
I mean, there's so much more, but that's just the bare basic foundation.
So bottom line, people buy from people, number one.
Yeah, that they like, they trust, and they know, which is another.
They have to know. I mean, and that's very true. I mean,
trick.
That comfort level, if you're going to buy something,
yes,
no matter what the price point is.
Yeah.
I know that when I buy expensive jewelry, I could go someplace else and get it cheaper, but I trusted Kruger Jewelers in Austin, Texas for so long that even though it was maybe a little bit higher, I felt better about the purchase.
Yes, and people will drive across town to get what they want.
Or go to other towns.
Towns, exactly. When I had my dessert business, I had a trailer at the Y in Oak Hill, 290 and 71. I moved up north, and I took the trailer with me, obviously, right? On Anderson Mill at a gas station on Anderson and 183. There were people that lived in South Austin, the Oak Hill area, that said, I still want that product. So guess what they did? They drove to Anderson and 183 to still get the product.
There you go.
And that's the power of brand, which is a whole nother thing, but yeah.
When I want beef jerky, I drive to New Braunfels to Buc-ee's.
Oh, there you go.
From Austin, you know.
Yeah, no, I believe it, yeah.
So with that, in today's climate, we have the COVID, we have a lot of restrictions.
Yes.
Is this a good time to start a business?
It depends, first, what kind of business, and number two is, do you have enough cushion to be able to withstand whatever friegas the government throws at us? Because obviously, we're all living on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour information coming at us. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, this isn't right, this doesn't do much, open the restaurant, close the restaurant, 25% capacity, 75%, everything is in a tailspin. Nobody knows the future. So when times are like this, things are being sold for pennies on the dollar. Commercial space is obviously super cheap right now because so many businesses went out of business. But also if you hop in there and let's say someone was charging, I don't know, $2,000 a month and you can get it for $1,200 a month, is the business that you put there going to survive in a pandemic that nobody knows the future of when it's going to end to begin with? So do you have enough cushion to be able to kind of keep you afloat?
Okay.
So it really depends on the industry also. I mean, just real quick, eBay, when the February, March, I personally know people that were selling face masks, 10 packs on eBay for $60.
My gosh.
Selling bottles of, a Purell hand sanitizer that they get for $5 at the grocery store. They were selling for $99 on eBay. I'm dead serious.
I don't even want to imagine the price of toilet paper on some of those
$55. Now, I'm not saying I'm talking from experience, but I'm just saying I know people.
So the market, starting a new business, depending on the time, I mean, that's going to be important. And I'm sure there are a lot of businesses that are very successful right now during this time period.
Yep.
I mean, I just know, like locally, some of the food trucks that were kind of doing okay. Yep. Now that COVID and people weren't going to restaurants or the closure, their business is booming.
Exactly. Uber Eats was another one that took off because people don't want to go somewhere, so people want it delivered. They still want the food, but they just don't want to show up.
Okay. I mean, I've seen in some of your other videos and some of the stuff that you do, one of the things you talk about is stop the mediocre deals and do some eye-popping things. Explain that to me a little bit.
Good example. Obviously, we're here in Texas. I believe everybody in their area, they have, whether it's, community impact or their local newspaper for their region, could be for the neighborhood, whatever. You have businesses of any kind. Could be a dry cleaner, could be a restaurant, could be a bubble tea location, whatever it is, tamale house, whatever. They spend money to advertise, right? And typically let's be honest, what's the thing you see? Spend $5 or spend $25, get $5 off. Bring this coupon in for $3 off. Get a free dessert with anything over $30-$40. Now, I had this conversation with the barbecue restaurant owner. I said, "What's the cost?" No, you know what? I'll even tell you a better one. A cell phone repair guy. Okay, he was a client of mine, and I asked him. I was at his shop and I was looking at the cell phone protectors, the screen protectors. I said, "Hey, how much those go for?" He said, "Oh, $10-$15." I said, "Okay, how much do you get them for?" He goes, "Bro, I get them for 90 cents. I said, "Okay, why don't you give them away?" He goes, "What?" I said, "Give them away." He said, "No, they're $10-$15. I said, "You pay 90 cents. He goes, "You know how much money I'm losing?" I said, No, you don't understand. Let me ask you the next question. What's the or not even a lifetime value, but what's the yearly value of a customer?" And remember, he didn't sell phones. This was just repair and whatever. And, accessories. He said about $250. I said, "Okay, stop and think about this. If a cell phone protector costs $10 or $15 and it costs you 90 cents, imagine buying 50 of them, which is going to cost you roughly $40. Whatever it came, 45, 40, but whatever it was. It's going to cost you less than $50. Spend $50 on a Facebook ad. You got $100 into it. Say, we're giving away, and it could be Wednesday and Thursday, 25 and 25. The first 25 customers that come in the door, no questions asked, free cell phone, screen protector, blah, 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 and on and on and on. I said, so what happens is you turn it into an event. It's something that and what I mean by mediocre is cut all the...
It's not a $5 off.
Cut all the BS. Just say, we're going to give you this for free. So stop and think about it. Okay, now let's break down math, because that's what I love to do. If you get 50 people in the door, okay? Now remember, more are going to come, more are going to see it. That's just the byproduct. All the extra is just the byproduct. We're talking about the reality of the 50 coming in the door. When those 50 come in the door, okay, let's just say you retain 3 of them. Let's just say 3 out of 50.
Okay. Because
some might have been already clients or customers from before. You get 3 people that you return as a yearly customer. What was that? 250 times 3 is $750. It cost you $100 to bring back $750. That's the way my mind thinks. Unfortunately, your average business owner, possibly even entrepreneur, because remember, they're 2 different things, they don't look at it like that. They just say, no, we're losing money. We can't do that. Same conversation I had with the barbecue restaurant owner. He didn't want to give away $4 sandwiches because of the fact that it was $4 of a sandwich he was going to give away. And if he gave away 50, it was $200 out in the hole. I said, you just told me that the average customer is worth a couple $100 because they bring the family and this and that. Have a deal going that blows all your competitors out the water. That is something that is not the ordinary deal you see on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. Give it away. Because if you truly know, and by the way, most business owners and obviously entrepreneurs, and I say them differently because they're two different things.
Right.
But most business owners can tell you how many clients or customers, new ones that they got that month, right? But no one can tell you how many never came back. Nobody can tell you how many didn't come, how many they lost, how many they haven't seen. They're like, they don't know. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right. So you advocate for giving it away.
Depending on the price point.
To keep them coming back.
To keep them, not just to keep them coming back, but to also actually get new clients. Because by the way, and I learned this, through my time reading and watching videos, there's 3 ways to grow a business that's guaranteed. And I'm going to give, so y'all listening right now, you got the exclusive, because you'll be surprised at how many people that have been in business for a while do not know this. And as simple as it sounds, y'all are going to say, what? It's that simple? And it really is that simple. Number 1 is effective marketing. That within itself is a science, but you have to test. I got shirts on eBay right now. I spent $35 on this last campaign. I got 68 clicks to my eBay store. There were 9 purchases made with an ad that's about 3 minutes long. I'm going to do another one in a few weeks, and I'm going to run another ad, and I'm going to bring one of the shirts down to like $7 or something just to see how many people buy something else. So number 1, effective marketing. Number 2, okay, pay attention. Increase the size of the transaction. JR, how many times have you gone to a business and the girl or the guy, doesn't matter, at the front desk or at the front door, simply ring up your money, ring up your purchase, you pay them, and you're out the door, right?
Right.
They don't offer you nothing else. They don't talk about nothing else. They simply render the service or the product that you went for, and that's it, okay? So by increasing the transaction is a guarantee that you just made more money, obviously.
Right.
Now imagine doing it by 10 or 20% of your customers daily. The third one is increasing the visits or the times that purchases are made. When I had the trailer and I was personally there and there was a family I would see every month, I specifically asked, hey, I only see you here like once a month. Why don't you come more often? Oh, well, we live blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. What would it take for me to get you in again? Well, we got 3 kids. Okay, what if I gave you 20% off every time I saw you, every time you came in, because you got 3 kids? I'll do it. Cool. I knew who that family was not by name, but, by face, obviously.
Sure.
But when they would come, they would spend $30, $40 because they made it worth their while. But now I'm giving them a discount. Everything's already marked up 200 or 300% anyways. So if I'm flipping back 20% or cutting 20%, 10% just to get them to come back, it's not money I lost, it's more money I brought in because they wouldn't have come anyways. So that's what and this once again, go to any run-of-the-mill, and I'm not trying to say this to be ugly, but any run-of-the-mill business, you simply pay, you leave, and they did absolutely nothing to get you to come back. They're assuming you're going to come back because they got great service, great food, great whatever. You're supposed to have all of that stuff. That is a bare minimum for business. Is people, you're supposed to have the product that people want. Now remember, you don't got to have the best burger because some people might want McDonald's and just want a quick, cheap burger.
But it's their favorite burger.
Exactly. It's their favorite. It's not the best, but it's the favorite.
Okay.
Remember, effective marketing, but of course you have to test and test. And I know business owners that spend $50 on Facebook and it didn't work. Well, maybe your ad sucked. Maybe the picture sucked. Maybe the plate of food that you were so proud of didn't click with the customers. And all you restaurants, by the way, that keep on just putting plate after plate after plate after plate on Instagram or Facebook, why don't you start showing the ambience, show the employees, show that the guys in the back, if it's a Mexican restaurant, hombre, que están cantando, volver, volver, something like that in the back. People want to see happiness. They want to see that they take their job seriously. They love their job. Because if the cook is happy, that means it's going to be a badass meal, man. Honestly, stop just showing the product. But we can break that one down more. But
show the love that goes into the product.
Show the love that goes into it. Show a packed house. I had an account that he was a barbecue restaurant. He never wanted to take pictures of his customers. I'm like, dude, you got a full, and every once in a while, you would have a full restaurant. Take 10 pictures and use it throughout the month or the week. So then the second one is, find a way to increase the size of the transaction. Don't just find a pretty girl that you put an ad on Craigslist and then you bring in the girl and she's cute. Show her how to sell. The man or the woman got their purse or they have their wallet out. They have the credit card. People are quicker to spend an extra $5 or $10 if they swipe a credit card than giving you cash. When it's cash, they're more hesitant to hand over an extra $5 or $10. But if it's a credit card, they think it's unlimited. yeah, that's cool. An extra pecan pie, whatever. If you can do that 100 times, that's 500 times more. That's $500 more in a day. Do that times 30. Do the math.
So it actually means asking for the sale.
Yes.
Coming back and goes, what else can I get you? Is there anything else you'd like?
Exactly.
Or would you like a slice of pie with that meal?
Yep.
Or like in Men's Warehouse, I can't get out of there without buying more than I walked in.
Anything. It could be anything. And I have, I think it's on YouTube actually. I have a video about this. I was at the Macomb School of Business. I did an event. It was Spanish. I was speaking over there. And I was talking about the restaurants, specifically the restaurants. Have the dessert menu. Bring all, how they got like the fake dessert or like the dessert of the day. Mm-hmm. They bring you with some restaurants, not all. They bring you no, ¿cómo se llama? The thing that the waiters bring out, the big plate, whatever.
The carts or the trays.
The tray with 7 different desserts. Show all 7 because now it hasn't become a yes or a no. It's become which of the 7. And if they're not hungry there, boom, you have a to-go thing already ready to go. So you don't want a yes or a no. And by the way, upselling, it's a negotiation also. And 2 words that are very magical in a negotiation that I learned. JR, do you know what they are? Do you want me to tell you?
Tell me.
That's right. Think about when you're talking to somebody and sometimes they nod their head. But if you can get them to say those 2 magic words, that's right. Imagine when you're selling somebody a car. And let's say you're asking $3,000, an used Honda Accord, whatever, and they want to offer you $2,500. Tell them like this. Say, look. And by the way, I call it painting the picture. Okay. Paint the story. This is a marketing tactic, by the way, okay? We're going to throw this one in there just because it kind of flows together. Y'all write this down. Star, story, solution. Okay? Once again, star, story, solution. If someone is trying to buy my car, let's say if I have a $3,000 Honda Accord on Craigslist and viene un chavo, and he said, I got $2,500. Say, how many cars have you looked at? Oh, I'm still looking around. Okay, perfect. Here's a scoop. This is what's going to happen. And you can change your tone as well when you tell them. He's about to be the star. He doesn't even know it. So guess what I'm doing? I'm painting a picture. I said, look, man, I know you got $3,000 because I put $3,000 on here. No negotiating, whatever. You're going to spend more time, wasting time, looking at all these cars. You're going to try to haggle more people, boom, boom. Now I'm just going to go on and on and on. So I'm basically telling him exactly what he already knows. And when he gets quiet, or she, could be a girl, doesn't matter, they kind of put their head down and they nod their head. They're basically saying, that's right. Now you want them to say it because you can say, as you said, because it's a lot easier to throw it back at them. As you said, that's what's going to happen. You might as well just get it over with now. $3,000. You drove all the way up here to Cedar Park or to Kyle or to El Paso or wherever it is. You know what you came for. Quit wasting time driving around and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's right. Let's go. Come on, sign the title transfer, whatever it is.
So you're breaking down those barriers, those obstacles that they have.
Yes, because what you're doing is you're painting the story, and then the solution is the sale, the $3,000, whatever. It's just like when you watch a movie. Same thing. There's a star of the movie, right? Mm-hmm. There's a story that happens, right? That's obviously the movie. That's the content. And what happens? What's the ending? No, but the superhero prevails, or the girl finally gets married to the love of her life, or whatever it could be. That's the same thing with marketing. And then when you're talking advertising, it's just basically, well, it's like when you run an advertisement, you can pitch it like that, direct mail or another can of worms, but you get what I'm saying.
Got it.
Yep.
Innovation.
Yes.
How important is that?
Super. And I'm going to tell you why, because once you start getting popping, people are going to copy you. And by the way, I just want to throw this out there. If y'all go to Instagram and you look up hashtag brick bites, okay? Look up brick bites. Just an FYI, if you watched or listened to one of our other episodes, you heard me talk about the Walmart pies. Every year, Kellogg's puts out the large sheets of Rice Krispie treats, right? I think it's $8.99. What I started doing was breaking those up into 6 different, I call them planks. And then I got creative one day because my customers, when I had my dessert business, were telling me that their 3-year-old kid couldn't eat that big old chunk of Rice Krispie. So I started this is before I found an actual distributor or actual vendor. I started chopping them up into little pieces, and I call them bites. Like they look like little brick bites. Mm-hmm. This is years ago, by the way. Guess who started doing it? Kellogg's ended up, and I'm not saying they copied me.
They copied you. Kellogg's copied you.
Hey, you never know, because mine were out 2 years before theirs, just an FYI. I looked up the dates that they released them, and obviously when I look up the hashtag brick bites on Instagram. But what they did, they started chopping up the Rice Krispies and made them into little bite-sized pieces. And I was doing that. So for innovation in a business, once people start seeing that you're making money, look at the cars, for example. How many cars, look, remember ¿cómo se llama este? 300, the Chrysler 300? Mm-hmm. It looked like a Bentley, man. It was a wannabe Bentley. All these other cars see what's popping, and then they start doing it. Like Tesla. Remember when everybody laughed at Tesla? Now everybody's trying to figure out, oh man, everybody wants a Tesla. How can we go green and be nombre que fuel efficient and
yeah.
batteries, 100% battery or solar, whatever it is. People are going to copycat you, so you constantly have to be innovating. Constantly. But let me tell you a little flip side. Here's another thing. I had a girl that came to me after an event that I did, and she sold balloon, balloon designs, okay? Basically, you give her $300, $400, $500, whatever. She does all this fantastic, beautiful balloon stuff for your wedding, quinceañera, whatever it could be. And I asked her, she said, well, a lot of times she's getting people that are going to the competitor. I say, why? She goes, well, if I charge $500, the competitor charges $450 for the same thing. Listen very carefully, y'all business owners. This is called the obvious race to the bottom. What a lot of people do, same thing that the grocery stores do, 79-cent Roma tomatoes. Nombre, put ours for 69. Nombre, put ours for 59. So before you know it, it's who can lose money the fastest, right? But your intent and your hope is to actually get people to come in and buy other stuff, right? Local businesses can't really do the whole Walmart tactic or the Randalls or the H-E-B or the Amazon tactic of doing the race to the bottom. So you have to learn, very important, windows of opportunity. And what I told that girl was this. I said, look, tell the customer, the client, 2 different things, by the way. People get those confused a lot. Tell your customer or your client that yours is $500, but this is also why. And you say, I'm giving you this, and this extra. So when the customer sees, wait a second, I can either save $50 or I can get all this extra free stuff. I'm going to spend the extra $50 and get all this other stuff. But here's a twist. Those extra things that you gave your customer or client are windows of opportunities to bring in another sale because you're giving them something that's actually the bait to lure them in to spend more money either down the line or if they liked it to get more of that specific service or product. Mm-hmm. Don't join the race to the bottom because either way you're screwed. And if you're a local business, it's harder for you to compete. Trust me.
And when you're a local business, you do have people that have better prices for the same thing.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that? How do you stay on top? How do you get the sale as opposed to going to the big box store and buying it from them?
So that's okay. That goes back to number one, brand. Are people willing to go to, let's say, for example, Salt Lake? If someone comes from out of town, take me to the best barbecue. Well, I could go to Rudy's and get, a pound for, I don't know, 18 or whatever it is, a pound. Or I could say, well, let me take you to, ¿cómo se llama este? Style Switch. But the one in Dripping Springs is better than the one on Burnett Road. So I'll drive all the way out there. So brand plays a very important factor in that. Expectation, reputation, consistency, also being the first or the only one that comes to mind. And another thing is constantly innovating, doing, like we were just talking about, doing something for those customers or clients that you won't typically do. Doing something that your competitor won't typically do.
Okay.
Sell them the whatever it is, but also give them extra, because keep in mind that extra might only cost you $1 or $2, but you just made a $30 sale. So it makes sense. The ratio isn't off that much.
And I've
for the percentage, yeah.
I've seen that a lot in, believe it or not, my travels in China.
Oh.
You buy something and it's like, I have a gift for you.
Yes.
And they present you with another little item. And it's kind of nice, but
Yep.
you remember that store,
Yep.
and you tend to go back. How do you get customers to come back to you?
It just really depends. Is number one, you have to. It depends on the type of industry, first of all, because obviously, when you're at a food trailer,
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're a funeral home. You don't.
yeah, you don't want to go do a drive-by somewhere. And, oh, look, they got to come back now. No, but let's say, for example, if you have a food trailer, you sell tacos, you sell tamales, you sell, what do they call, gringas or gorditas, whatever it is. Okay, let's just say a food trailer. You physically, this is what I used to do when I was because I ran a food trailer. This is what I personally used to do. When they would come, keep in mind, they have their wallet in their hand or their purse in their hand. They came for whatever it is. Could have been something they saw on Facebook, something that their friend showed them, whatever. They show up while they're placing their order for what they want. Just like you said, I give them some, oh, try this. I just had some cookies that came out the oven here. Oh, you got your kid? Okay, here, boom, boom. Chop up a cookie 2 or 3 ways.
Into those bite sizes that Kellogg stole from you, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I would do the brick bites, or what they loved is the, ¿cómo se llaman? The cookies, the fresh baked cookies. By the way, I was going to Restaurant Depot and buying, I think it was 120 for like $20. It came at 25 cents a cookie, and it was a cookie dough. So, no, but I was killing myself in the trailer, and I was selling every weekend, because I was only open 3 days, by the way. By the way, limit the time that you're open for availability. Don't just make it an any day. Make it exclusively where you compress it. When my situation, compress the time I was open so more people would show up, so it would look more popular, which it already was, but it helped. So what I'm saying was, I would give them a piece of a warm cookie that just came out the oven, right? Mm-hmm. But guess what they said, oh my gosh, did you make those? I said, yeah, but if you're already getting what you want, it would take me about 15 to 20 minutes to get a dozen ready for you. However, I have the take and bake cookies. I'm sure you have guests coming over. You know, holidays was a big one. Monday Night Football, the Thanksgiving, whatever it was. I'm sure, you could also have them during the week, right? Going to work, taking them to the office party. That's right. Remember what I told you about negotiating?
So you're just giving them samples so they buy another product.
Yes, and what did I just do? Increase the size of the transaction. So when I increase the size of the transaction, so now let's just say it was an $18 transaction and I turned it into $27, right? Let's just say you also give them something to say, hey, you come back within a week or 2 weeks, whatever it could be, always put a timestamp on it, you get an extra 20% off or 25% off.
So like a coupon or something?
Something like that. That was specifically for like a food trailer. So what's happened is you're now telling them when to return, right? Remember I told you, get them to return. Number 2 was increasing the size of the transaction. And of course, the marketing was depending on if they already saw the item on Facebook or Instagram with an ad that I ran, however it is. And one thing that I learned about being in the food industry was this. People want something. Look, we're in a world where people want to go to Cabo San Lucas and take a picture in front of El Arco and say, ha, 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 look at me. That's really what all Facebook and Instagram is about. Ha, 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 look what I'm doing. Look what you're not doing. Look at me. So I learned that with the food business. Look what I got that y'all don't got. So that's when I came out with the churro doodle cookie with the churro inside of the snickerdoodle, and I called it churro doodle. Literally.
Just made something up.
I made up random BS, JR. I BS you not.
And it sold.
And it sold. And I realized I did one called the Southside Mudslide. And what it was a brownie on top of a blondie with ice cream. And it was just random nonsense on top of nonsense. But guess what? You couldn't get it anywhere else. So the exclusivity of it made it very important, and I only had it for that one weekend. So I would run an ad from Monday through Friday, and I would only be open Friday through Sunday for let's say the Southside Mudslide, or giving away snow cones with every purchase. You get a purchase, people are like, wait a second, if something costs $4.50 over here, and they're giving me a $3.50 snow cone, the guy down the road is charging me $3.50, but I can get 2 items worth $8 for $4.50. I'm going to Stumpy's. And it worked.
It works.
And imagine when you have 5 kids, but everybody has to buy something to get that free snow cone. So they get their pie, they get their cookies, they get their whatever it is. So that's how I learned. Like everything I'm talking about now, I actually implemented it because I wanted to see if it worked.
So basically you're getting customers to spend more and liking it.
Yes.
They feel they're getting a better, so they get the better value, they don't mind spending more money.
Yes, and I get them to return. But also, by the way, a tactic that I would do is when and I call them the ballers, right? When they would come and spend like 30, 35, 40, $45. Now keep in mind, this is just a dessert trailer. I would personally go to the table and I would give them like a $7. Now keep in mind, for me, the cost was $2.50 for the for the cheesecake. But the way I had it all decked out was like about a $7 slice. Because of my appreciation for them spending 30, 35, $40, I would either give them something that they can continue eating there or something to go. So then they felt, man, this guy's badass. He gave me this. He hooked me up with this. He gave me whatever it could be.
And bottom line, they will be back.
And they will be back, and they're happy.
And when they're hungry, top of mind, they'll think of you.
For dessert, yeah, for desserts. When it came to desserts, Stumpy's was the one top of mind in Austin.
Well, Hamid, there's one thing I've definitely learned talking to you today is you are a hustler.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're a hustler's hustler there.
I don't know if it's the Persian side or the Mexican side, but either way,
it's the right combination, man. It's the right combination.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost out of time. I want to thank you so much again for coming back for this episode.
Sir.
Is there anything like any pearls of wisdom you can leave with the audience before we sign off?
Oh man, so many. Just love what you do. Remember why you're doing it. Don't put your house on the line as collateral with the bank. But again, when it goes downhill, Papa, shoot.
Although everything's gone.
The wife is coming after you, and when she didn't know that you had the house as collateral. Y'all going to be living with a suegra that you don't like anyways. So yeah, I mean, yeah, just love what you do. Educate yourself on it. Test a lot. You know, we're in a world now where everyone's advertising on Facebook or Instagram. Don't just run one ad and say, didn't work.
Test it. Test
very many variations of it and see which one actually pops. And just with leaving that, there's a guy from, I won't say the newspaper, but it's a well-known Hispanic newspaper in Austin. And I met one of the sales reps some time ago, and he was talking about the ads. There's a guy that I think is mariachi music. He's like a mariachi, and he goes, look at the picture. And I said, okay, I looked at the picture. He said, that guy hasn't changed that picture in like 20 years. I said, what do you mean? He said, he's been advertising with us for like 20 years, whatever. He said, I said, how old is the guy? He said, he's in his 50s or 60s. And I looked at the picture. Nombre, it looked like a 25, 30-year-old dude. So what happens is, but here's the reason though. For him, that advertisement works.
Got it.
So he doesn't specifically change it. And he thinks he's killing it with that advertisement. But you think you're booking a 30-year-old dude, and number 55-year-old guy shows up.
Kind of like on some of these realtors, they have their picture on their card.
Oh, yeah.
You show up to meet him and go, who are you?
What happened to the one that had the 1985 poof haircut? Where the women that have their hair all dolled up and they come back and it's all different.
Well, Yaz, thank you so very much.
Yes, sir.
Hamid, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. We hope to do some more in the future, and good luck, and keep the hustle going, my friend.
Always. Don't stop hustling.
Don't stop hustling. Folks, you've been listening to the Latino Business Report, brought to you by TAMAC, the Texas Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce, and we will see you again next time.